Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am just making sure the tech is set up, and then we are going to dive into day one. So let me just make sure this is working okay. I am just making sure the tech is okay. Just make sure this is working. I realize my camera's not on yet. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to day one. I'm actually sharing my screen. You'll see I'm in my basement. I'm shooting from my home gym today, so that it's a little bit quieter. But I also made slides, which I was so proud of because they're so pretty. And once I get them open, you'll see how beautiful they are. And I wanted to create slides because I want to make sure I really stay on track for you guys and stay super focused. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Hot Leads, where I'm going to teach you guys, if the graphic pulls up, watch it not work. Let me try this. Let me try closing it and reopening it. Anyway, welcome to Hot Leads, where I'm going to teach you guys about what I call my very transparent sales process. And I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about, obviously, kind of my story and over the many years of entrepreneurship, of sharing and selling online, and how things have really shifted in the online space. And I think there's more now than ever. Uh-oh, my computer froze. Bear with me, guys. More now than ever, a call for having very transparent sales processes. And I know if you're here, you probably want sales to feel easy. You want sales to feel fun. And you probably, I would venture to say, don't want to do sales calls anymore. And I know a lot of people, hold on, sorry, guys. I don't know if you can see my screen still, but I'm trying to get this to work. Tech issues. I know a lot of people come to me and they're like, I like sales calls. I like doing sales calls. I don't want to get rid of sales calls. And I get that because I really liked sales calls too. I was actually extremely good at sales calls. I like them. I like getting to know people. I can sell really effortlessly on them. However, what I realized was I actually just desire to be with my kids more than I desire to be on a sales call. And I desire to be in my business more than I desire to be constantly on sales calls. So this is going to be the masterclass for you if you're ready to let those go or start shifting away from sales calls. If you're sick of feeling like you have to go out and find clients, chase clients, DM, reach out to every new Instagram follow, all those things. So if I can ever get this working, we will get this party started. And as you're jumping on, put hashtag live if you're watching live. I'm totally going to answer questions if you guys have any at all. So feel free to drop them and I will answer them, or you can wait till the end and I'll make sure to answer them. And then also, if you're new to my world, if you're new to my Facebook group, the way my Facebook group here is run is very different than most groups. I do not run this group for vanity metrics. I don't run this group so that I can have a ton of people in it. I literally run this group because I wanted a community of people that I knew were interested in my coaching, interested in working on the things that I talk about. We're interested in learning about the things that I talk about. So this is very much a community. I feel like y'all are my soul family. It's a space for me to be even more just like real and blunt. And so with that being said, if you're in the group and you're kind of a quiet lurker, you never comment or engage or anything like that, you'll be removed from the group over time, because I go in a couple of times a month and I just delete people who aren't active, because I just want people in the group who are actually interested in being here. So make sure that if you are enjoying this container, this group, that you like and comment and engage occasionally. That way I don't accidentally delete you. Last housekeeping thing, and then I finally got the the slides to work, so we're going to dive in, is this free course will stay up until Friday. At Friday at noon Eastern, it will be deleted. After that, it will go back to being like something you can purchase. You can purchase for $9.97, so I'll share the link. And you can purchase the replays if you want as well, but it's only free until Friday. So do not self-sabotage. You registered for a reason. Make sure you watch them before they are deleted. Okay. Let me make sure this is working now, guys. So sorry about the delay here. Okay, I think it's working. Oh, the joys of technology. All right. I think it's working. All right, so another thing I want to do, if you're new to my world, is I'm an intuitive coach. I'm an intuitive person, and I'm very much about bringing our heart and our energy and our spirituality and our soul into our business. That's very, very important to me, and it's how I create my business. And so with that being said, I'm feeling called to set our intentions really quick and start with just a little bit of a grounding meditation. If that's okay with you guys, my energy feels like it's kind of scattered. And if any of you guys are empaths or fellow intuitives, you know what it feels like when your energy is all over the fucking place. So really quick, for me and for you, we're going to ground our energy and just get centered so I can get really focused and deliver you amazing value. So if you're driving or you can't meditate right now, that's totally fine. But what I still want you to do, even if you're driving or you're in a space where you can't close your eyes, I want you to set your intention. Treat this as if it was a very, very expensive paid container. Treat this as if it was something you purchased, because a lot of the times when something's free, we don't value it as much. And I know that this is life-changing information. I know it can shift things for you the way it did for me. And when we set our intention, intention creates its own fulfillment. So we're basically deciding ahead of time what is now true for us, what we're now calling in because of this intention. So go ahead and close your eyes if you're able to. We're going to take a few deep breaths in. We're going to call in the highest crystalline light with the highest healing vibrations just around this as a sacred healing space, and provide for us and everybody listening anything they may need from this experience. And we call in our guides of the highest good, our angels of the highest good, and our higher selves to support us, that everyone can be raised in their vibration, raised in their consciousness, and become deeply empowered around selling in a way that serves not only themselves, but humanity as a whole, and in a way that is transparent and feels good to everybody and being involved. We ask that this course unlocks codes that have been waiting to be unlocked, and is something that helps shift people in the most positive and enlightening way possible. And now go ahead and set your own intention of what you are choosing now to get from this experience. Whenever you're ready, take a deep breath and open your eyes. Okay, thanks guys. That helps me. Helps me get focused. So hot leads, how to attract ready to buy clients without sales calls, without cold DMing, without constantly reaching out and following up. The promise of this 2-day course is that you're obviously here for one thing. You're here for transparent sales with soulmate clients that light you the fuck up at any price point. And that's what I'm here to give you. So throughout this 2-day course, I will be talking about high ticket, mid-range ticket, low ticket. The price actually doesn't matter. The way that I sell is the same no matter the price point. So if I'm selling a 10K package, it's going to be the same exact sales process as a $100 offer typically. Now I might switch up my marketing and how I sell it. Like I might sell more on stories or in a Facebook group, but in terms of the process I'm going to teach you, nothing is going to shift. And I think sometimes we focus way too much on, oh, if it's high ticket, we have to do sales calls. We have to sell differently than if it's low ticket. And that's not necessarily the case. I've done the whole spectrum, and this works for everything. You're also going to learn some perspective shifts. I may say things that go against what you've been told. I may say things that go against the grain. And I do that because, well, I'm just sharing my truth. So I'm just sharing what works for me. So feel free, as always, as with anything I do, to take what you want and leave the rest, because you're the expert in your own business. Your intuition, your power, your inner knowing is what's really, really important. So if anything I say doesn't sit with you, doesn't resonate, isn't what you want to do, then throw it away. There's no reason to take on other coaches or other mentors' systems or beliefs or thoughts or ways of doing things if it doesn't feel good to you. And that comes down to personal power and self-trust. Okay. And I'm going to be talking about how to attract what I call hot leads from your hot audience who are ready to buy, and you're not having to chase or constantly feel like you're tracking down your next client. So I would actually love to know in the chat and I think I can see the chat live right now. What about sales do you want to feel better about, get better at, learn more about? Like, what do you want sales to feel like for you? You're here for a reason, right? Was it to ditch sales calls? Was it to feel like you're not chasing clients? Was it because you're like, I just want sales to be simple, transparent, fun, easy, effortless? Was it because you are feeling really nervous about selling in general and you have a lot of negative beliefs? Like, what is it for? Lori said attracting the right leads easily. Love that. Definitely not to feel, not to feel sleazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Selling is so much fun, you guys. Selling is so fun. Selling never has to feel icky. Selling, and I know we all hear this and it becomes like such a cliche of like selling is service, but it genuinely is, because there's no other way for people to work with you unless they buy something, except for with your free content like this. But you can't do free content for everything, right? Not feeling salesy, owning my power and sharing it. Yes, love that. So I have this slide up because I want to share that this isn't just me speaking from my own experience. This is me sharing with you what's worked for me over the past 7 years. I'm going to share with you a lot of things I've done that didn't work or felt really terrible, because if you name a selling process, I've probably tried it. Like, I've probably tried it. And this is also me working with my clients and seeing that this works for not just me, this works for anybody who wants to do it. This works for everybody. This is the way it can be for you too. Okay. So before I dive in even more, this isn't going to be right for you if you're 100% brand new to business. Now, this can kind of be argued, because I actually do think you can sell this way if you're brand new. But there are some other components of selling that if you're brand new, you have to work on that I can't cover in just 2 days, right? So if you're like, I literally started my business yesterday, my best advice would be, if you started your business yesterday, oh gosh, there's so many different places to start, but my best advice would be just start getting your ass in the seat in front of people and helping people. And it doesn't even matter how they pay you, when they pay you, what way they pay you, just like help the people. That's the best thing. If you complain when somebody gives you the exact tools, so like, I only have 2 days here, I'm going to give you everything I can give you in the 2 days. But obviously there's so much more in depth that I can only give you, within a program, or if I'm working with you. I'm going to sell. So if you are like, I don't want to come to this free course because at the end, Cassie's going to share ways to work with her, then you probably shouldn't be here, because I am going to sell. I am going to share with you ways to work with me. If you don't want to listen at the end, that is totally fine. And if you're not a service-based business, so if you're here because you are in real estate and you do mostly in-person sales, that is not my area of expertise. What I am very good at is coaching, consulting, or network marketing. I was in network marketing for 6 years. I know a lot about network marketing sales. And then also, obviously, I'm a coach and do business coaching. So this is going to be perfect for you if those boxes are checked. All right, so the problems we experience in sales. I'm going to read the chat really. Not feeling like a pushy person, yes. Not feeling salesy, owning my power and sharing it. Love those. So here are some of the problems that I experienced when I was selling, and that a lot of my clients do, and just a lot of people in the online space. So let me know in the comments which one of these are like, oh, that's me, that hits for me. The first one is you're spending a ton of time getting people on calls or chatting in the DMs instead of actually being able to work with clients and being in the business. I find that a lot of service providers are spending so much time marketing and trying to figure out how to sell and trying to get people on sales calls or trying to chat in the DMs that they're spending all this time with client acquisition. And then they're giving their actual clients what's left, or they're giving their actual business and what they want to do, what feels fun, what lights them the fuck up, their purpose, their soul work, what's left of them. And this was me for a really, really long time. Now, I've never done like a ton of sales calls because in network marketing, my first business in network marketing, you don't do sales calls typically, at least in my business model. We didn't do sales calls. But what I was taught to do was I was taught to, every single time somebody followed me on Instagram, every new Instagram follower I had to do a, hey girl, reach out, right? Hey girl, thanks for following me, and try to like strike up a relationship, strike up a conversation. And I will say that worked incredibly effective in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. That actually worked really great for about 4 years. And it felt good to me. It was like, because I never sold. I would reach out to people. I would say, hey, thank you for following me. What do you want to see on my page? Or, you know, how long have you been on your, like, I would just strike up conversation. And genuinely, I never put any pressure on it to make a sale. I never pitched to those people. It was just me saying, hi, thank you for coming to my page. Worked great. But marketing and times and social media changed. And what worked back then did not work anymore in 2020. And I was like, okay, this isn't working. Like me just striking conversations with my community isn't really helping. And I kind of started to freak out and think, oh my God, maybe I'm going to have to start cold DMing. Like I'm going to have to start just pitching. And I'll be completely transparent. I tried it. I'm willing to try everything. I'm willing to experiment. I'm willing to be uncomfortable. And a lot of people were teaching, okay, just reach out to people and pitch, sell, share what you have to offer, right? And their reasoning was that if somebody came, like if you owned a store, like a brick and mortar, if somebody came into your store, you're not going to sit there and chit chat about random shit. You're going to say, hey, this is what I have. How can I help you? And you're going to sell to them. And I thought, oh, that reasoning makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and try this out. And it didn't work worth a shit. And it didn't feel good and it never felt right. And I very quickly would give up on it because it felt so effortful to wake up every day and be like, oh my God, I have to go in my DMs and I have to like send these messages and invite people to the business or invite people to this offer. And it just felt terrible to me. Now, if that feels really good to you, go for it. But I'm willing to bet it either doesn't feel good to you to cold pitch or it's not effective. It's not effective. It's like 1 in 100 may actually be interested in what you're selling. So what a colossal waste of time, guys. There are so many easier ways to sell. So, and then with sales calls. So when I started this business with intuitive business coaching, I was taught by my first mentor, my first coach I hired to do sales calls. There was no other way. You have to do sales calls. And if you want to make sure you're having a lot of sales calls, you need to make sure you're having a lot of conversations. So it's kind of like right back to the same thing. I was like, oh my God, here we go again, right? Here we go again. And I was new to the industry. I'm new to this kind of coaching. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll do what it takes till it takes, right? I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to try the things. I gave my power away a little bit to this particular coach. And I thought, this is what I have to do. So I did the sales calls and I had the belief that if I don't have conversations going all the time, then I'm not going to be booking calls. And, only 1 in, 5 people might convert from a call. So I got to make sure I have lots and lots of calls going. I did probably like 5 sales calls before I was like, fuck this. This feels terrible. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I've been an entrepreneur for a really long time. I've been doing this for years. And you just hit this point where you're like, is it even worth it? Like, yes, I might get some sales and I might make money and I might help people, but is it really worth it? And at this time, I was, like I said, I was actually, even though I hadn't done a lot of sales calls, I'm naturally good at them because I sold in college. I actually worked at the Buckle. And if anybody remembers the Buckle. And yes, I was one of those people at the Buckle selling, but it taught me sales experience. All of my jobs in college were sales jobs. Like, I was good at selling. So I did sales calls. I was good at them. I would convert really well, but I just thought, like, there has to be an easier way. I don't want to spend time on these. I have a 3-year-old son. I'm pregnant. I'm going to have another son soon. And do I really want to be spending this tiny amount of time I have to work each day on calls? No, I don't. So I decided I'm not available for this. I'm going to figure out a better way. Now, another thing that happens is that, or a problem we experience, is that we have people in our containers who aren't a good fit, couldn't afford it. We get them on a sales call and we talk to them and we convince them to buy, or we maybe not convince, but they end up buying. But the whole time they're in the container, they're really not a good fit because they couldn't afford it in the first place. They're stressed every single month about paying you. They're worried about how they're going to get through the next month and the next month and the next month, because instead of just wholly coming to that decision on their own, they're on a sales call. They kind of feel the pressure. They get a little bit talked into it. And the next thing you know, you end up with this container of people where you're like, none of these people can afford to be here. This doesn't feel good. And I have been in containers myself where I've been in group coaching programs where the head coach did, that's how she brought people in the program, was kind of these very pushy sales calls. Like, we were literally taught, get somebody on a sales call, and on the call, you have them get out their credit card. Was anybody ever taught that? I never did it because and no judgment, guys, by the way, none of this is judging anything, because like I said, I've tried everything. I didn't try the credit card thing, but I've tried a lot. And I think anything can work. I think if you're doing it in a way that feels good to you, I think it's fine. But that's what we were taught. And so I was in this group coaching program, and I kind of started to look around, and I realized that of all the tons of women in this program, most of the women here cannot afford to be here. And they're always stressed about paying, and they're always very disempowered, to be completely honest. And it just felt like something is wrong with this sales process, that it's attracting these people constantly into this program who can't afford it. I do not think that you need to have somebody on a sales call pulling out their credit card, paying in that moment to get them in your program. And if that is the case, you might want to take a step back and think about, why do you feel that's required to get a sale? Because it's just not required. Now, another problem is when you're doing sales calls, or you're feeling like you have to go out and get clients, or you have to be in the DMs, or you have to be following up, there's no way to actually make sales while you're not working, right? If you're not booking calls, you're not making sales. If you're not in the DMs, you're not making sales. If you're not handling objections or going back and forth in your conversations, you're not making sales. So when I did this work, I was like, I also need to shift so that I wake up and it's like, oh my God, sales came in. While I was sleeping, people bought. That is the vibe we want. That's how easy it needs to be. Another problem is spending way too much time following up, reaching out, building relationships. Like I said, that can just be a time suck in your business if you're sitting there feeling like you have to go out and build relationships all the time or follow up with people. And I'm going to talk about follow-up. I'm going to talk about how I build relationships in a minute. Another thing that happens is you get friend zoned. Or people just giving you so many objections. So how many of you are getting a shit ton of objections? I want to know, because that is such an easy fix. And I'm going to go into this in a minute, but it is probably my biggest pet peeve when people say, create content to handle people's objections, right? Handle people's objections in your content so that when they get on a call or when they get in your inbox, they don't have any. And although it makes sense logically, I'm going to explain why that's complete and utter bullshit. It does not work. I tried it for 5 years and it was like hitting my head against a wall until finally I was like, ding, ding, ding. This is why this isn't working. And you'll often get friend zoned as well, where it's like people just think they can be in your inbox chatting you up, asking you questions without ever actually buying, without ever actually like treating it like a business. Lori said, thank you. I've paid thousands to other experts who asked for the credit card on the call. It feels desperate. And the 2 times I did it, I felt like the relationship as a client started off in bad energy. Yeah. I have totally. And you know what? I want to share with you guys. And again, I really hope none of this comes across as like judgmental. That is never my intention. And I have no availability for shame at all. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I've done this or I've done that, do not shame yourself, because shame is one of the lowest frequencies you can resonate at. It is not fucking helpful. I am not here to shame you. I think there's nothing to be ashamed of. When you're an entrepreneur, you're failing forward, you're learning from your mistakes. Your intention is to help people. Your intention is to be of service. Sometimes we're just taught the wrong way to go about it. When we know better, we do better. I've done a lot of fucking shit in my businesses where now I'm like, I would never do it that way. But I didn't know better. And when like I said, when you know better, you do better. So we're not going to shame ourselves about anything. But I remember being on a sales call about a year ago now. And I was on the call and the program sounded amazing. And I was like, this is exactly what I want. And this happened twice, actually. I'm ready to buy. I'm like ready to buy. And all I told the lady was, I'm going to go talk to my husband because we make all of our decisions together. And then I will let you know. And on the call, she shamed me and tried to undermine that relationship with my husband by saying, why do you need your husband's permission? I buy stuff without my husband's permission all the time. It's my business. Isn't it your business? Literally, that's like word for word what she said. So first of all, major balls. Second of all, totally fucking inappropriate. And this is what I was taught to do when I was taught to sell. It was, if a client comes to you and says, hey, my husband and I need to talk this through, instead of just saying the appropriate response of totally get it, go talk to your husband, I can't wait to hear back, which is the correct response in my opinion. It was, oh, well, here's what you should do. You need to get their husband on a call with them and talk to their husband and kind of finagle it that way. Or you need to talk to them on the call and help them come up with different ways to handle it so that when they go to their husband, they know what to say. Again, none of that is wrong, but I think it makes things 10 times harder than they need to be. That is so much more effort and so much more work than just trusting in your people and saying, yes, go talk to your husband. The only reason we get into all that bullshit of, oh, I need to sit here and get your husband on the call, or I need to coach you with how to handle your husband without you asking, right? If somebody asks you to help coach them, that's one thing. But if you're just telling them, let me coach you on what to say to your husband, that's very different. And the only reason we do these things is because of scarcity. Because if we truly knew that money just is, money's going to come, selling is easy, I don't need to worry about whether money's going to come, it just is, we wouldn't do any of that. We would be like, all right, go talk to your husband. Can't wait to hear from you. Right? So I was on a sales call with this lady and she's like berating me about asking my husband, telling me that she doesn't have to ask for permission. Why do I? And I politely, I should have probably just ripped her a new one, but I was polite and I said, I don't ask for permission, but it is how our relationship works. If I'm going to make an investment over $500, we talk about it, period, end of story. It really pissed me off. So I didn't buy that program. Right. And then like a couple months later, I got on a call with another woman, and again, no hate to these people because they were doing what they thought was right, I'm sure. But I was on a sales call with another person. And again, I'm like, this program's great. I'm really excited. I think I'm all in. And then she starts shaming me because I wasn't willing to purchase right then and there. And I told her, I said, I'm a very spontaneous person. So I have a 24-hour rule with myself that if I'm going to make investments at this size, which is a $10,000 investment, I give myself 24 hours. That is a rule I have for me. I expect you to respect that. And she didn't. And she was very rude and very condescending because I had that rule in place. So I share these stories because it's so important that relationship with your client as a service provider, your relationship with your client starts the moment the sale begins. Not even the moment they buy, but the moment they start having that relationship with you, right? And if you tarnish that on the first call by breaking down the self-trust or making them pull out their credit card or making them feel ashamed because they have a 24-hour purchase rule, which is a genius idea and I highly recommend, it's going to fuck up the relationship, or you're just going to lose the sale altogether. So both of those cases were great opportunities, but the way they went about it was so like not okay with me and so against my values, because my relationship and being on the same page as my husband is one of my highest values, that it was like, well, you just fucked this all up because I'm not buying from you at all now. You know? Another problem that we have is if you're doing sales calls, let me know in the comments if you guys are doing sales calls. And again, if you love them and you're like, they're the best thing ever, go for it. But if you're like, I'm done doing them because I want to make time to actually be in my business, we're going to learn how to do that. What happens is there's this idea in the industry of like a conversion rate being only a certain percentage, right? So if you have a webinar like this, you have to make sure you get 100 people on because you're only going to convert at 2%. If you only convert at 2%, that's only 2 sales. All these fucking bullshit numbers that personally I do not believe in because I think they're fucking dumb. I think they're soul crushing. I think that it's just not the way the universe works. It is not the way the universe works, guys. I have literally had courses, or not courses, master classes where I have had 10 people register and I've still had 7 or 8 people sign up for the high ticket offer. How is that possible? It's possible because the universe has no fucking rule around conversion rates. The universe isn't sitting there like, oh, every webinar only converts at 2 to 3%. So you better go out and find more people. Like, fuck that shit. Fuck all of it. It's all fucking stupid. I'm getting really, really passionate here because I think it's super disempowering to people and it gets us focused on the wrong things. Same thing with sales calls. I was told sales is a contact sport. If you want to have so many sales, you need to have this many calls. So if you want to have 1 sale this week, you better have 5 calls booked. So then it kept me focused on like, oh my God, I need to get calls. I need to get calls. I wasn't very good at getting calls booked. Like I just was not good at getting calls booked. And so then it would lead me to be like, well, I don't have any calls booked, which means I can't sell this week. I'm not going to make any money this week. I don't have a single call booked. Let's move away from that and know that money comes while we sleep. Sales happen all the time. People are always buying. There's always somebody becoming a hell yes. There's always somebody waking up thinking today is the day that I'm going to work with Cassie. And they don't need to be on a sales call for that to happen. So when I got rid of sales calls, I stopped having to worry about, oh my God, I only have 5 calls this week. How am I ever, or I have no calls this week. How am I going to make any money? It's like, it has nothing to do with making money. Okay. Another problem is it's not super duper scalable. So if you're on sales calls all the time, it just makes sense that how are you going to scale more effectively and more efficiently if you're wasting time on calls, right? And then another problem we run into is this idea of doing a sales call, but calling it something different, which is another thing I was taught, which again, if you're honest and upfront and you tell people, hey, this is a breakthrough session, I'm going to do free coaching or I'm going to do free consulting. But at the end, I am going to share with you ways to work with me. I think that's fine. But a lot of the time, the way this is positioned is more so of like, I'm going to do a free coaching session. And then the whole time you're on the coaching session, you're thinking about how am I going to fit this in? I'm supposed to be selling this person. You know, how do I get them to buy? And it just creates like this really uncomfortable situation for you and the other person. And so I also was like, I don't want to do free coaching. I've been an entrepreneur for a really long time. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to do free coaching. I'm not available for it. I'm not going to do it. So I never did. That's just the truth. And I think free coaching can be great if you feel aligned with it, if it feels really good to you, but it didn't feel good to me. I do drop the F-bomb a lot. If you're new to my world, so, like now you know, do not listen when children are around. I drop the F-bomb a lot. Alyssa said, my team wants me to do that, but honestly, my potential doesn't want me to be on a call. Then I would just always go with what you want. What feels good to you? That's all that matters because that's alignment. That's alignment. And I've done too many things in my business because it's what the team wanted when I was in marketing, or it's what my upline wanted, or it's what my coach wanted, or it's what my mentor said. And now it's like, nope, I only do the things that feel good to me. And I'm always willing to try new things. So if it feels uncomfortable, but it also has this spark of excitement, that means that's something you should do. But if it feels uncomfortable, dreadful, awful in your body, then trust your gut and just don't do the thing, you know? Yes, Chelsea said, I've done discovery calls and closed 90% of the time in them. I feel because I'm quite transparent and very upfront and give them lots of time to, yes, Chelsea, that's perfect. And that's very much your energy, because I know you, Chelsea, you're just very like, your energy is very open and calm and make the best decision for you. And I think if you're going to do sales calls, that has to be the energy, or else you're going to have these situations where you attract the wrong people or you ruin the relationship. If you can do them where you're like, hey, this is me just sharing with you what I do, and if it's a good fit, awesome. And then everybody leaves feeling very open to make their own decision. I think that's perfect. But I'm also going to share with you why it's just not even needed at all. Like, you just don't have to do them at all, unless you really, 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 really want to. But I'd rather be with my kids or like taking a bath or watching Netflix. Okay, caused by the following. So those are the problems that we experience in sales, just some of them, but those are the big ones. Those problems are caused by these things. Number one, you are not speaking to the right people in your content and in your marketing. This is the number one, probably the biggest problem. This was me for years because, like I said, we're often taught to speak to people's objections. We're literally taught to talk to the people who can't buy. We're literally taught to talk to the people who don't get it, who don't want to invest, who don't understand why they need a coach. And then we're wondering why nobody's buying, or why we have to do sales calls, or why people have objections in the DMs. The second one is your content can't convert people to buyers on its own. So there is a piece here, guys, where if you just drop sales calls right away and you don't work on the content and the messaging piece, it'll probably still work. Like, you'll still make some sales, but it's going to be a lot harder if you don't learn how to create content that can convert on its own. And that is a specificity and a messaging problem, not a sales problem. Excuse me. Most of the quote unquote sales problems we face is a problem of personal power and a problem of not having content that can easily convert on its own. Now, the third reason that we have all those problems is we're doing these calls because our coach or mentor or some program we were a part of said that we needed to. So essentially, we're giving away our power. This was me when I first started both of my businesses, right? When you're new to business, you're just learning and you're like, okay, well, she's a coach and she's really successful. She must know what she's doing. I'm going to have to do it her way. And so there comes a point you have to decide that you have to take your power back. Just like I said at the beginning of this course, if something I said doesn't hit for you, if it doesn't land for you, then don't listen to me. I am not the end all be all of business, and neither is any other coach or mentor. And sometimes accidentally it can feel that way, right? So sometimes we're doing these things simply because we think that we have to, or because this is what our coach said to do. And we're like, all right, I'm willing to do anything. I'm going to make it work. But there's always a different way, a better way, a new way, a way that feels aligned. Now, another problem or kind of foundational belief that's causing these problems is that you just in general have some foundational beliefs around sales and selling that, until shifted, will continue to affect your ability to sell. So if you have beliefs like selling is sleazy, selling is pushing, selling annoys people, if I sell too many offers, people are going to be confused. If I talk too much on my stories about selling, people aren't going to want to follow me. My favorite one, sales is a numbers game. What's another one that just chaps my ass? Oh, sales is a contact sport. It's such bullshit. That's what I was taught. And I spent years thinking sales is a contact sport, meaning like you got to get in there and have conversations. You got to be in your DMs. If you don't have combos going in your DMs, you're not going to make money. Total fucking bullshit. Not true. Not true at all. If you believe that, here's a big one. If you believe that when somebody buys from you, they're losing money. So there is a piece here that I can't really dive into in this course, but there's a big piece around money as well. Because if you think that when somebody pays you, they're now out $2,000 and you've taken money from them that they now don't have, like you having something takes from them, that's going to fuck up your sales a little bit too. If you believe that somebody buying from you is going to hurt them, that's what I mean about foundational beliefs. So I'd love to know in the chat what beliefs come up for you around like what selling means to you. Are there any beliefs around sales are gross, salespeople are icky, any of that? Chaps my ass. My husband works construction, like he's a project engineer and they build buildings and construction sites. And y'all, if you think I curse, you have not heard these people talk. And that's where I like pick up these little sayings and I'm like, oh my God, I sound ridiculous because I talk like these guys on the construction site and I've never heard anything like it. But my kid can't hear me right now. I really am like not the worst mom ever. When he's around, I really clean it up. I promise. Yes, I believe in my skills, but have this belief that other people don't believe or trust. Yes. Lori said, fuck is my favorite F word. Same. So then, oh, okay. So here's the next one. All of those problems I mentioned before are caused by the following. And another thing that's causing all those problems in your sales is that you're more afraid of losing money than your desire to make money and have more time. So this was me. I was like, I'm afraid that if I stop doing all this stuff I was taught of the reaching out to new followers and having conversations and sales calls and cold DMing and engagement and all the bullshit we're taught to do, I was so afraid that if I stopped doing that, I would lose out on money. So I was more afraid of losing money than I was at the opportunity of making a lot more money while I'm sleeping, while I'm hanging out with my kids, while I'm having fun. Or you're afraid to raise your prices. Let me know in the comments if that's you. You're afraid to raise your prices. So it's causing issues because you're like, I know that I should be charging more, but I'm afraid to raise my prices because I'm afraid of losing out on money. And then what happens is you're resentful of the people who have bought. Or you're so misaligned, nobody's buying because you don't want to talk about it because you think the price is off, right? And here's something I want to share with you. When you shift the things I'm going to teach you how to shift in this course, really empowered, ready to buy clients, they do not want sales calls. They don't. If I have somebody come to me and say, hey, I need to get you on a call, my answer is no. I don't have time for a call. I'm not interested. What I want you to do is tell me what it is I'm buying, what I'm getting. I need the details. Send it to me now. If I have questions, I will let you know. Guys, that's the vibe. That's who your content should be speaking to. That's who your marketing should be speaking to. That's what everything you make should be speaking to, is that person who's like, I know what the fuck I want. I just need to know, are you the person who can give it to me? Let me know what it is you're offering. Let me know the price. I'll let you know if I have questions. Otherwise, I just need a link. I actually didn't buy from somebody last month because they were like insisting on a sales call and it was like this group program. And I'm like, I just really no, I'm not getting on a call with you. Please just tell me what it is. It makes me feel like there's something not to trust here because you're not just straight up telling me. And I'm not going to spend 30 minutes of my life. I'm about to get real heated. My life, I was only born in this particular skin suit one time. And I don't know when my clock's up and you want me to get on a sales call? Like, I ain't doing it. So when you do these shifts, you're actually going to attract people like me. And it helps you guys. It helps if you practice becoming an empowered buyer, because then you're not just trying to speak to somebody who's so different than you, you're speaking to you. I had to become an empowered buyer when I made these shifts. I'm now an extremely empowered buyer, but I wasn't before. And it's okay if you're not currently an empowered buyer. If you're currently like kind of a scared buyer, that's okay. Because I was a scared buyer, very much. Like my first couple investments that were over 3K or 3K. I remember my first 3K coach, I was like terrified. I was so nervous. I had to have like all the bells and whistles to buy because number one, that person was marketing to scared people. which attracted me. I was a scared person. And yes, I bought, but I was very much a scared buyer. I am now a very empowered buyer where it's like, I trust myself. I trust that I'm always making the best decisions. I trust myself to invest. I trust myself that I have the money. I'll make the money, whatever I need to do. I got me, right? Another big one I hear a lot, and that I really want to challenge you on, is that I've heard people say, well, I have to do sales calls because if I don't do sales calls, I'm afraid that I'll attract like the wrong person into my container. I'll attract the wrong kind of client into my private coaching or into my group program, and then they'll ruin the whole container. And I need to get to know people before they buy. Let me know if that hits for you. Because I used to say that too. I was terrified that if I didn't do sales calls or at least talk to people, I wouldn't get to know their vibe. And then what if I attracted the wrong kind of person? Let me tell you, this comes down to a couple things. Number one, you have to trust in yourself. Do you trust that if you do attract the wrong, quote unquote, wrong person, you can handle it? Do you have boundaries in place in your business to where if you attracted a quote unquote wrong person who was not a good fit, maybe they didn't make their payments, or maybe they violated your boundaries, or they didn't respect you, or they spoke poorly to you, whatever the situation is, do you trust yourself that you can handle that, that you have the boundaries in place, that you have the systems in place to manage that situation? That's number one. Number two, do you trust your people? I trust my people. I trust my people. I trust my energy. I think it's very obvious based on how I talk and how I show up and the energetic availability I have for what I'm available for and what I'm not available for. So I don't have these instances very often. Now, we all do occasionally. Well, you're going to attract occasionally, no matter what you do, sales calls or not, DMing people or not, having combos or not, you will occasionally attract somebody who is a little more challenging. Now, don't let that be a rule. That could just be a belief of mine. That could totally be a belief of mine. It's a very rare occurrence, very, very, very rare occurrence in my world that I attract somebody who is not a perfect fit. But every time I have, I learn so much. I tighten up my boundaries. I learn the lessons I need to learn. I get so much from that situation that I always consider it a major win. So this idea that you have to like pre-vet people and make sure they're a right fit. Another thing I want to say is your content should be pre-vetting people for you. Your content should be so polarizing that it's very obvious whether somebody likes you or they don't. Your content should be doing all of this heavy lifting for you. And when your content isn't doing the heavy lifting of pre-vetting people, of repelling or attracting, of speaking to the right people or not, then yes, it doesn't matter if you do sales calls or not, you're going to continue to attract the wrong people. And then another one is this feeling. I can't tell you how many times I go online and I see ads that say something like, I saw one just yesterday and it was something along the lines of like, find your next 5 clients. Find your next 5 high ticket clients is something what it said. And I thought, that is so what we're taught, right? We're taught to go out and find the people. Let me know in the comments. That was me for years, especially in network marketing. You're majorly taught. You're majorly taught to go out and find the people. Instead of using attraction marketing, instead of using attraction content, instead of being a magnetic leader, a soulpreneur, instead of being a visionary and doing your soul's work and trusting that the right people are going to be magnetized to that, you're taught to go out and find the people, which immediately puts you in scarcity. We are literally taught in our industry, service-based industry, to go out and chase people. And they might not use the word chase, but energetically that is the feeling. You got to go out and find people. You got to go out and make it happen. You got to go out and do the things so that the people come. We have to switch all of that. Your clients come to you. You are the visionary. You lead the way. People come to you. We are not going out and finding clients. I'm not going to go out and chase clients. I'm not going to go out and get clients. I don't do any of that shit. That was a huge shift for me because I spent so many years indoctrinated with the belief that I have to go find clients. And it was very stressful. And it literally, guys, it will fuck up your nervous system. My nervous system was so effed up After years of waking up being like, oh my God, I have to hit my sales goals. I got to go find the clients. It's scarcity. It's fear. It's lack. It is not the place to be. It is not the place people want to be. Nobody is sitting here being like, I cannot wait to sign up with the coach today who's sitting behind her desk begging for clients. I cannot wait to sign up with the mentor today or the leader in my network marketing business. I can't wait to sign up with the person who's sitting there begging for people or looking for people or out there like hustling for people. I can't wait to sign up with her. Like nobody's doing that, but that didn't click for me for a long time because that's what we're taught. So I thought I had to wake up and go out and get the people. Truth is, your people find you. People come to you. And the way that you sell is by backing yourself fully, by being the visionary, by leading. You have to lead and people follow. When you're chasing clients, who's the leader? Nobody. Everybody's just running around like, what am I doing? Where are the people? I need to go find people. That is not the vibe. If you were on my last masterclass last month called In Her Leadership, I talked about this. Self-leadership is highly attractive to people because self-leadership is the vibe of this is what I'm doing. This is what I am. This is how I do it. This is where I'm going. You can either come or you can stay, but I'm motherfucking leaving. Like get on the bus. Let's fucking go. That is self-leadership. That is magnetic. But when you're like, hey, come on, get on my bus. This is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing. Can't you see how great this is? Come on. We have juice boxes on my bus. Like we're out there like begging people to get on our bus. No, that is not the vibe. I am in my leadership. I am going. The people are coming. Because if you're out there looking for people, chasing clients, trying to find clients, nobody's leading. And if nobody's leading, where's everybody going? Nobody's getting anywhere. Nobody's inspired to be with you because you're not leading the way. Does that make sense? Okay. Getting fired up here, guys. Lori said, I'm pretty sure I trust almost no one. I'm interested in the context for that because all relationships are a reflection of relationship with self. So I'd be really interested to dive into that. Because our client, another thing to know about client attraction, you guys, is people mirror us. They mirror our relationship with ourselves. They mirror our relationship with the voice in our head. So if you don't trust other people, that will continually be mirrored to you until you heal whatever that is or release it or choose different, choose out of it. That was me for a really long time, so I would know. Chelsea said, yes, most of my clients come to me. I never want to work with someone I found. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I have to wrap up before day 2 because it's already 11:54. But so I'm going to kind of fly through the next couple slides. But in order to fix these problems that we just talked about, in order to fix it, what you've probably done is you've probably done what I just talked about. You spent way too much time trying to get clients, which can look like I gotta get this Instagram thing figured out. I gotta make sure my reels go viral. So I'm gonna study all these different strategies because if I could just get the right strategy on my social media reels, then they would go viral. Then I could find the people, then the people would buy. If I could just get the strategy to work on my social media, I would go viral. Guys, I've gone viral a couple times with different pieces of content. I've also had a massive Instagram account. I don't anymore. My Instagram account is like 850 people right now, but before it was almost 20,000 before I made a new one. How many followers you have or how viral you go does not affect how much money you make. Ever, 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 ever. It can't because how much money you make is related to your subconscious identity and the way you see yourself, your self-image. So you can go viral all day long. You can build up the big ass account, but if internally you see yourself as broke or you see yourself as somebody who can only ever make X amount each year, it doesn't matter what you do. You cannot outperform your own subconscious self-image. That is a training for another day. I just want to share that with you because I already tried that. Doesn't work. Another thing that you're probably doing in order to fix this is cold reach outs, like I said, or starting combos with all new followers or forced relationships, right? Just like my coach, when she told me sales is a contact sport. You got to go out and build relationships in the DMs. So it's like, I got to message every new follower and start to strike up a conversation. You don't need to do that. If you feel called and intuitively pulled and you're like, oh my God, this is so fun, go for it. It doesn't hurt. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you don't need to. Or you're doing free calls and breakthrough sessions that you don't want to be doing. If you want to do them, again, go for it. There is no right or wrong. But if you're like, I actually would be a dream if I could just wake up and have sales come in, or wake up and spend all of my time in my business instead of on calls, you don't have to be doing that. And another thing I want you to keep in mind as you're listening to this course, or this, 2-day course, is at the end of the day, guys, start asking yourself this really powerful question. I should have put it in the slide, but write it down, because this question is going to change your fucking life. Instead of asking what's going to work, instead of asking how can I get the people to buy, or how can I get people to say yes, or how can I get people in this program, how can I make money? Instead of asking what's going to work, ask yourself this one question. What experience of life do I want to have? Do I want to have a life where I wake up every day and yes, I make the money. Yes, I get the sales. But my experience of life is that I'm constantly hustling, and I'm constantly having to do reach outs, and I'm constantly having to work for the next sale. And then I get that sale and I'm constantly working for the next sale. And then I'm hustling up for the next sale. Is that really what I want my life to look like? That's the realization I had when I switched everything and sell transparent sales, which I'm going to teach you in a second, is I realized I don't want this experience of life. Like, yes, it might work. It can work. I'm making money. I'm having clients. I'm doing the things. But I don't like how I'm doing it. My business doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel easy. It doesn't feel effortless. So it's never about what's working. It's about what experience of life do I want to have, knowing that no matter what, it always gets to work, because success is a choice. No matter what, it always gets to work, because money just is. It's like the motherfucking oxygen I breathe. It is going to happen no matter what. Right? Okay. So I'm way behind on time, so we might go a little longer today and shorter yesterday or shorter tomorrow. Because I'm super passionate about this topic, so I can kind of talk about it a lot. So yeah, it'll just be a little bit longer, but here is what does work. Number one, like I said, creating content that speaks to empowered people who are ready to buy. We're done speaking to people who need us to convince them. We're done speaking to scared buyers. We're done speaking to convincing people. We're done trying to prove ourselves. Uh-oh. There we go. Second thing is shifting how you see your people. This is huge. Nobody's teaching this. I don't know why, because it's like one of the biggest things. But like I said, your soulmate clients, your audience will mirror your perceptions and your beliefs. That's how they will show up for you. So if you don't do this inner work around shifting how you see your people, they can't help but show up in the way you perceive them. It's not possible. People will always show up in the way you perceive them. So if you see your people as broke, you better work on that. If you see your people as weak, disempowered, unsure of themselves, needing convincing, needing a sales call so they can feel confident enough to buy, you got to shift how you see your people. And then the third thing is creating a sales process where everything sells everything. This is what I teach my clients. This is what I do in my business. Everything sells everything. Everything sells everything. This sells everything. My low ticket offers sell my high ticket offers. My high ticket offers sell my low ticket offers. It's all an ecosystem, and everything sells everything. So I'm going to share with you guys, and I want to preface this by saying this is so simple that you guys are going to be like, this is it. It is it, but at the same time, there's all those pieces that I just mentioned. So this is my 3-step sales process that I do for selling everything now. And like I said, I guess I kind of forgot to say this at the beginning of the course, but it doesn't matter. I've sold things at this price range for $10K. I've sold things in this process that are $100. I've sold over $400,000 cash into my businesses in the DMs, in this, you know, not very many sales calls, but a few sales calls back when I did them for a while. So I've done the whole gamut of things. So I know how to make money. I know how to fucking sell. I know what I'm talking about. And this is the 3-step system. So I'm going to show you my system, and I know your brain is going to say it can't be that easy. It is this simple. It is this easy, but there's also those other pieces I just mentioned that will go into play here. Shifting how you see your people, making sure that you're talking to the right people in your content. Okay. So the first one in my the first step of my sales process is I create content speaking to the empowered, ready to buy client, and I use a very strong call to action. So that was the biggest, that's honestly the biggest shift that I had to practice making, was I spent so many years talking to like the wrong person that I really had to learn, how do I create content that speaks to an empowered person? Like, what specifically needs to shift so I can talk to the person who's ready to buy, the person who wants to buy, the person who's ready to click a link, doesn't need convincing, all that stuff. So I shifted my content so I was speaking to the right person, but then also I started using very, very, very strong call to actions. You guys, you got to tell people what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to do it. Be very fucking specific, be direct, be a leader, be like, this is what we're doing. Do you have to do a call to action on every single post? Absolutely not. You can, there's nothing wrong with it. For me, I just kind of do whatever feels good in the moment. So I'll just be like, hey, do I want to do it on this post? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There is no like set rule. And I know people teach a set rule, like every post should have a call to action. Then other people say none of them should. This is one of those times where you should refer to your internal power and say, what feels good to me? Like, what feels good to me? How do I want to sell this? Do I want to do a call to action? Now, this is a super powerful example that I want to give you guys, and I will suggest writing this down as well. It's just one way to do a call to action, but this is a little trick, and it's one of my favorite ways to do a call to action, especially if I'm running a test group. Now, a test group is essentially a soft launch. So if I'm launching something that's brand new, I've never launched it before, I will typically run a test group, which is like a small group of people to go through it at a slight discount, just to give me feedback, give me testimonials, give me information about how the program went. So a really good call to action example that you can use is something along the lines of this. I'm looking for blank. So you can put the number. I'm looking for 10. I'm looking for 5. Doesn't matter the number. It's actually pretty obsolete. I'm looking for 5 coaches, or whatever your industry is, right? So I'm looking for 5 consultants. I'm looking for 5 moms, whatever it is. I'm looking for 5 coaches who are ready to create blank. So what's the result they want? I'm looking for 5 coaches who are ready to create 10K months. I'm ready for 5 moms who are ready to drop 10 pounds, right? What is the result without blank? So what is the thing that they like don't want to have to do? So this course is actually a really good example of this. I didn't use this call to action for this course, but I could have said, I'm looking for 20 coaches who are ready to create consistent high ticket sales without sales calls in the next 30 days, right? So you want to talk about what is the thing they don't want to give up. So if you're doing weight loss, you could say, I'm looking for 10 moms who are ready to drop 10 pounds without giving up donuts and pizza on the weekends in the next 30 days. You don't have to do 30 days. You could do 60 days. You could do 90 days. You just want to make sure that you have a number that creates that tangible result. People love to know, okay, I'm going to get the result in this number of days. So I like to add in the 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. You don't have to. You can leave that part out totally, but I think it's really powerful. And then if you want to do what I call a keyword option on your call to action, you would say something like, DM me the word sales for all the details right to your inbox. Because I want people to know that I'm going to just send you all the info, because that's what I do. I'm not going to DM you and then like make you get on a call or sit here and like chat back and forth about dumb shit, but then secretly try and sell you. Like, I'm just going to give you all the info, right? So you can use any keyword you want. DM me the word sales, DM me the word, self-love, whatever your keyword is, for all the details right to your inbox. Okay. Another way to word this is, I'm starting a test group right? If you want to go that mode, I'm starting a test group for 10 coaches who are ready to create blank without blank in the next 30 days. You guys kind of see how this is set up? I think it makes sense. Okay, step 2, you guys are gonna be like, this is how simple it is. Yes. Step 2, direct them to your next step of either an application, a keyword, a sales page, or a link to buy. These are the ways people buy from me. You can either fill out an application. I don't have time in this course to go over what the application process is, but there is a really good way to set up an application that the application also does the heavy lifting. The application is going to kind of set you up as an expert, set you up as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I can't think of the word, so we'll just go with the word expert. But there's a way to create an application that it kind of sets the tone and it lets people know right away this is for me or it's not. So it's kind of like another way of just kind of weeding out anybody who may not be a good fit. So you can either direct people to an application with your very direct call to action. You can direct them with a keyword, which is what I just gave you an example of. You can direct them to a sales page, which I love to do because, again, sales pages should be so well done, so specific, so direct, and so tangible of a result that there are no questions. So it does all the heavy lifting for me. Or a straight up link to buy. That's the way people buy from me. Another way that people buy from me is typically people either buy from me by number 1, they come in my world, they read a couple posts, they like me instantly, they buy. Number 2, they come in my world, they like my posts, they follow me for a couple months or a couple years and they buy. Or I guess that's really the main 2 ways. I'm trying to think. Oh, and I do get clients from like word of mouth, but not very often. Most of selling should be done through your content doing all of the work for you. And if you're, by the way, content doesn't just have to be Instagram or Facebook posts. This is content. So one of the ways I sell is through courses and masterclasses because I like it, because I think it's super fucking fun, because it helps me serve people who may not want to buy right now, because I'm good at it, because it's energizing to me. So it doesn't have to be just posting on social. It could be YouTubes and podcasts, and all of those things should be selling. Everything sells everything, right? Step 3 is you make the sale. So that's it. I direct somebody to the link and they buy. You can answer any questions, but you'll rarely get them if your content is doing the work like it should be. If you do get questions, you know, I'm happy to answer questions. If somebody has questions, they can just DM me and I'm like, yes, yes or no. The thing with questions, if people DM you questions, is be blatantly honest with whether or not it's a good fit, because that builds trust. And even if they're not going to buy right now because you tell them, you know what, this really isn't a good fit, I guarantee you they will buy down the road. I had a client come to, or well, now she's a client, but I had somebody come to me probably 6 months ago and ask if one of my offers was a good fit. And she shared with me all these fears and all these worries. And she was like, can you guarantee that this is going to do X, Y, Z for me? Because I'm really nervous and I really need this to work. And I straight up told her, no, I cannot guarantee that. And I honestly don't recommend joining this container until you feel more empowered around this. Because if you're coming to me, handing me your money and saying, please fix this for me, you're not in an empowered place to buy. I didn't say it like that exactly, but that's essentially what I said, right? So if people do come to you with questions, you got to be real with people and tell them, yes, it's a good fit, or no. And I know you guys are in my communities, so you're of high integrity, and you'll just straight up tell people like, no, you really shouldn't buy this, or hey, this would be a better fit, that sort of thing. And then with following up, I honestly say this goes back to trusting your gut and trusting what feels good to you. It's not required. One of the things I was taught in network marketing, and I taught for a really long time, was the fortune is in the follow-up. I was taught that. I taught it to all of my downline. I really believed it. And it can be true. It can be true. It worked really well, but here's the thing. When you're talking to the empowered, ready to buy people, they really don't need you to follow up. So the way I build now is like, if you want to follow up, if intuitively you feel pulled to follow up, if you really desire that, go for it. It's not going to fuck anything up. But for me, it's more so like, unless I'm feeling a really strong pull to check in with somebody, I'm not going to, because I trust in my people. I trust in their timeline. I know that money's happening, like coming to me no matter what. So it doesn't really matter. I don't need the money. Money just is, money just comes. So I just allow them to have their process. I just don't worry about it, to be honest. I just don't worry about it. Okay. So the mistakes that people make is they don't shift into being a match for high ticket clients or ready to buy clients or empowered buyers before they do this. So that you can drop sales calls and drop all these things, but if you don't shift who you're being to be a match for these people, it might not work as super well. Number two, they don't shift their content so it can sell for them. Number three, they don't shift how they see their people, like I talked about. Number four, they don't hold the energy to sell out their offers. So holding the energy, that's a course for another day. I've actually done a course around holding the energy because it's one of my favorite things, but holding the energy is exactly what I talked about. It's this feeling of like, I don't need to worry about how this is going to happen, when this is going to happen, if it's going to happen. It's already done. Like, thank you so much. I've already received the clients. My calendar is booked. Everything's sold out. I'm just going to hold the energy and know that it's done. And number five, this happens a lot. People get themselves friend zoned, where people are like, oh my God, you're so inspiring. I love your content, but they never are buying, right? Which if you're getting friend zoned, that's like a positioning and messaging thing usually, and sometimes an energetic thing. So what we still need to do is how to create content that sells for us, how to be magnetic to our soulmate clients, which sales is personal power. Sales is power. So if you want to be magnetic to your soulmate clients, that comes from strengthening that personal power muscle. The mindset shifts that may be happening beneath the surface, like I said, and then how to create an application that sets you up as an authority. Okay, so like I said, I am going to share with you guys ways to work with me if you want to dive deeper into this. We do have day 2 tomorrow, so if you don't want to listen to what I have to offer, that's fine. Day 2 is coming tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern in this group. And for now, I want to share with you guys what I have open if you want to dive deeper into this work. So this week only until Friday, I'm opening the doors to Sold Out with Soul clients. Sold Out with Soul clients is like, you know, kind of like this program, but going really deep into the actual process that I use to sign, align, and empowered clients that truly light you up, that you love to work with, that it feels like every day's Christmas. That's how it should feel with your soulmate clients without sales calls. Okay. And in that program, I also dive deep into shifting how you see your audience and the messaging tweaks that are going to set you apart, right? Those are the pieces that we need. And this slide kind of covers that, so I won't go super deep into this, but each module in Sold Out with Soul clients, it's a hybrid program. Okay. So with Sold Out with Soul clients, the reason I love it and I'm excited about it is because it's not just a course where you're like, okay, buy it, good luck, go do the course. I know that when people buy courses, a lot of the times they don't do them. So when you join Sold Out with Soul clients, you'll get Voxer access to me, so that as you're going through the program, as you're listening to the modules, as you're selling, you can pop in and ask any questions, mindset shifts, energetic shifts, sales process shifts, how to create content. I can give you content feedback, all of that. So module 1 is shadow work for attracting soul clients. These are the mindset shifts that are literally going to catapult your success, that are hiding beneath the surface. Like, these are the subconscious blind spots that you can't see that are fucking up your sales. So we're going to get in that in module 1. Module 2 is claiming your power to attract soulmate clients. Because like I said, sales is personal power. Without personal power, selling doesn't work very well. This is the inner manifestation process where you'll learn how to embody the version of you who's super empowered around selling and master the skill of being in your personal power. 3 is being a match for empowered high ticket clients and how to market in a way that attracts those people and repels everybody else. 4 is the sales process. So I dive deep into, today I gave like an overview. I'm going to dive deep into exactly what my conversations look like, how, you know, if people are DMing me, how that looks, what my application looks like, what my sales pages look like, all of that. Module 5 is how you see your audience. We're going to dive deep into how do you currently see your audience and what do we need to shift so that you can see them in a way where they'll show up for you differently, because that's a huge piece of this. And then module 6 is unquestionable and unwavering, how to hold the energy to sell out your offers even when it looks like it's not working, because sometimes that's definitely going to happen. Like you're going to sell shit and it's going to look like it's not working. And you got to learn how to hold the energy even when it looks like it's not working. This program is 6 weeks of Voxer access to me, like I said, where we can go deeper into your specific messaging shifts, your strategy shifts, your content, all of that. Lifetime access to the course itself and any updates that I create. A 24/7 community for support within the Facebook group, so you can pop in, ask questions, all those things. You'll also get access to my client-only podcast for 6 weeks. So it's exactly what it sounds like. I have a podcast specifically for my clients where I upload episodes just for them that are meditations, there's special hypnosis I create for my clients, but also just riffs on like specifically things that my clients need help with. And then within Sold Out with Soul clients, I also have custom meditations and hypnosis specifically around selling. So the hypnosis and the meditations are designed to help get your subconscious in alignment with your conscious so that selling becomes effortless, easy, fun, transparent, empowered, all of those things. So the program itself, the reason it works so well is because it doesn't just work with you on a conscious level. It's not just modules you listen to. It's going to be coaching with me, but in addition, we're hitting that subconscious piece with the hypnosis and the meditations. And then there is a bonus if you decide to join and pay in full. Before the doors close on Friday, you'll get a bonus one-on-one call with me, which is 45 minutes, normally costs $500, but you'll get it for free, where we can dive deep into your specific business, your specific blocks, your specific shifts. I think I said specific like literally 100 fucking times. But we'll dive into your specific things. So the investment for this program, and the link is at the bottom there. Sorry, I probably should have said that, but to go to the sales page for this, which of course, because I'm teaching transparent sales, it's exactly that. You go to the sales page and you can click buy. But the link is bit.ly/soldoutwithsoulclients. It's either $1,111 pay in full, which gets you the bonus coaching call with me, or 2 payments of $599, 2 monthly payments. So it'd be $599 now, and then 4 weeks, $599 again. Either way is fine. I don't care either way. I think payment plans are a vibe. I think pay in full is a vibe. It's totally up to what feels good to you. And there is a bonus option, okay? Option 2 is you can add access to my newest program that's going to be coming out soon, my 10K Facebook group launch. So I'm going to be creating a program, and if you're already a client of mine, you're getting access to this already, but I'm going to be teaching the launch strategy of selling out your offers with a small audience with a micro Facebook group. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create and grow a small but super profitable Facebook group with a small audience. And also how to grow that Facebook group with the right leads, how to avoid like freebie seekers and people who just aren't really interested in your content or in purchasing from you, and how to not waste time in your Facebook group. I see a lot of people doing a lot of fluffy shit in their Facebook group. And I knew when I started this community, I was like, I'm not posting fluffy shit. I'll post stuff for engagement because I want to, because it's like, oh, this is fun. I'm going to share this with my community. But I never wanted to feel like, oh my God, it's another thing I have to do, right? My Facebook group has been incredibly, incredibly profitable. My very first, like, quote unquote launch within this business was a 13K launch within my Facebook group. My Facebook group at the time had about 100 people. I didn't have a sales page. All I had was a Google Doc. And I just like shared my Google Doc with my Facebook group, and I had a 13K launch. Literally, it was just, here's a Google Doc with the information. Let me know if you want to buy. And like that just proves to you guys all this bullshit we're taught about selling isn't even required, because all I had was a very, very, very not sexy Google Doc with like, this is the offer. This is what comes with it. I'd love for you to be in it. And I had 13K launch because I had such a hot Facebook group, because I had a group of hot leads ready and people who were interested in what I had to offer. And I knew that I could help them, right? You'll also learn in this how to uncover the hot topics your audience is dying to learn about. So instead of going live and like fingers crossed, hoping people care about that topic, or creating a whole masterclass, hoping people care about a topic, you'll use your Facebook group to always know what people are wanting help with. You'll also be learning how to best position your group to get the right people in. That's really important. And then also how to launch and sell to your hot audience on repeat without extra work. So you can actually, I'll be teaching in this program how to do this on automation. So you can actually launch something over and over and over again in the same Facebook community, if you feel called, on automation completely. That's the key. Make it automated so you can kind of just like do your thing, and it can be selling on the back end all the time. So if you want to bundle those, you can, and it's going to be stupid cheap. So when I go to actually launch the 10K Facebook group launch, it's going to be a $1,222 program. If you want to bundle it, because it's pre-sale right now, you can bundle it with sold out with sold clients for $1,555. So normally if you were to bundle them, it would be $2,333. So if you feel called and you want to bundle, I just realized I don't have the link for that. So if you want, if you want to do that option and you want to bundle them, just message me privately and say, hey, I want the bundle, and I'll send you the link for the $1,555. Otherwise, if you don't want to bundle them and you just want sold out with sold clients, you'll just go to bit.ly/sold out with sold clients. And I'll also post the link in the comments and all that stuff. So let me know if you guys have questions. If you do, I'm happy. I'm going to scroll on my phone here and see if there's any, and then we'll have day 2 tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Lauren said my passion is contagious. Thank you. Yeah, Stacy said, yep, that's me. Give me the details and don't do the long sales pages and calls. Yes. Yes. Sales should be the easiest part of your business, guys. Actually, I just kind of think everything should be easy. Sales should be easy. Content creation should be easy. Everything gets to be easy. That's a training for another day, because we aren't taught that. Okay, I don't see any specific questions anymore, so I'm going to hop off. Thank you for hanging out with me. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I will see you tomorrow for day 2. Bye.